Hello, you are welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we'll be dealing with session 4 of Unit 4. In session 4, the topic is test of controls. Test of controls. And Unit 4 as a whole is talking about the internal control systems. At the end of this session, you should be able to list the specific test of control appropriate for various areas in the income cycle. The focus is on the income cycle now. So that is the objective that must be achieved at the end of this lecture. Now let's take the test of controls relating to sales system. Now, test of control should be designed to check that the control procedures are being applied and that objectives are being achieved. Now, the test may be appropriate under the following broad headings. So we have the sequence test check, sequence test checks. Then we have authorization. Now, when you come to authorization, we are looking at acceptance of order, discount applied to those orders, the dispatch of the goods, raising of the invoice and credit note, pricing and discount, write-off of bad debts are considered under authorization. So you check to see if these items have really been authorized before dispatching or giving it to the customer. Now the other heading we test this control is the evidence of checking of the arithmetical accuracy. So you have to check for the arithmetical accuracy of invoice, credit note, we have VAT and NHIL. So you have to check for the arithmetical accuracy of this and obtain evidence for them. Now we also have the dispatch note. We have the control account reconciliation, and then we have the arithmetical accuracy. So these are some of the broad headings that this test of control can be grouped under: authorization, sequence of check, arithmetical accuracy, dispatch note, control account and reconciliation, and the others. Now let's look at the test of control relating to purchasing systems. So you have to test for evidence of sequence check of purchase order. You have to test for evidence of approval of a purchase order. Then you have to also test for adherence to authority limit in respect to purchase order. So what is the limit of who is ever supposed to authorize? Has the limit been exceeded? Then you have to test for evidence of sequence of the goods received note. So if you have indeed received the goods after making the order, what is the evidence that you have received the goods? So you have to look at the sequence of the goods received note. And this is where you have to make sure that the pre-numbered or serial numbers that are given to this tally. Then you have to also test for evidence of a sequence check of purchases. Test for evidence of a sequence check of purchases. And these are the tests of control that must be done relating to the purchasing system. Now, when it comes to the payroll systems, you have to ensure that employees are paid for the work done. Employees are paid at the correct rate as well. And then errors cannot occur in the calculation of the payroll or the deduction from gross pay. So you have to ensure that those things don't happen. Now the test of controls we have to put in place you have to test sample of the timesheet, the clock card or other records for approval by the responsible official. So if you want to pay the individual, you have to check the timesheet, the record cards and co. Then you have to also test authority for payment of casual labor, particularly if in cash. So who authorized the payment to that casual labor? Then we have to test control over payroll amendment. So if the payroll have been amended, there are some people whose details are taken off from the payroll and there are some new ones that are added. There has been some adjustment here and there. you test control over this um, payroll amendment as well. Now, let's look at the test of control relating to the cash system. Now, you have to also test for cash receipt, whether what you have received actually match, and then what is the evidence that you have received it. Has it been documented well? And what are the items that are bringing in the cash? When you look at the cash payment, the authorization, and then what are you paying it for, the limit for this payment. Then you also have to prepare the bank reconciliation statement and to reconcile your cash book and then the bank balances as well. So there has to be this reconciliation. Then we also have the petty cash. As you said, the petty cash is used to cater for these petty expenses and co. So what are the evidence, the interest that was given, how was it used, who paid, and upon what basis? So all this must also be accounted for when you are testing, or you test for control relating to the cash system. So basically that is how you go about it. Now let's look at the test of control relating to the physical to inventories. Now you have to ensure that there's physical safeguard in place to ensure that the inventories are not stolen. So are there any security measures put in place to ensure that these items are not stolen? You have to as well inspect documentation to confirm daily processing. So there has to be a confirmation of those documents when the auditor inspects it. Then we have the review of cost accumulation of various reports. So if there is any review of any variance report, it must also be tested, and the test should be able to reveal all this. Then we have also test of controls, recording of inventory movement belonging to third parties. So if you have to test for all this control, that if inventory are moving to third parties, what are the things that has to be recorded? You look out for all this. Then you can as well observe the physical security of inventories and then the environment in which inventories are held. So you can go to the physical stock count to see what exactly is going on there. Now, we also have the test of control relating to PPE, test of control relating to PPE. So you have to check the authorization purchase to board minute, the capital expenditure budget, and the capital expenditure form. So in our previous session, we said that if there has to be a capital expenditure that has to be incurred, it must be recommended by the board, or the board must approve it by minute. So the board minutes serve as an evidence for that. Then you also have to check authorization for disposal of significant asset. So who authorized the asset to be disposed? These are some control tests that must be performed. Then we also have as a test of control, you have to confirm the existence of fixed asset register. So you take the assets, what are the additions, what are the subtractions, is there any valuation that is affecting the value of the assets? We have to confirm the existence of this particular fixed asset register and go into detail what it needs to capture. The carrying value of the asset will be disclosed. The depreciation will also be disclosed on this particular register. So in summary, we have looked at the test controls relating to sales systems, purchasing system, payroll system, the cash system, inventories, and PPE. So try as much as possible, as I said, read and read to enhance your understanding of the topic and then the course. Thank you, and see you in the next session.